We love our listeners.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. We get a chance to start things off. Special invitation, from the Women's Ministry of the Chapel Church of God. Somewhere in between, we have a good company of the Honorable Deputy Governor, and then some open line as well. So that's what's on the stage today. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome, Mike. Thanks for joining us as we invite you to be a part of our discussion today. We want you to share with us and certainly recognize that it's Easter, but equally it's also a time to be pensive, reflective, and very much appreciative as we welcome to the studio Pastor Yolanda Palmer from the Church of God Women's Ministry, the Chapel Church of God, together with Miss Sophie Mackenzie, Miss Anna Marie Martinez, and Melita Matute. Pastor Yolanda, when we look specifically in this society, the stalwarts who are mothers and their sisters or wives, and the charge that they lead sometimes, but the burdens that they bear almost is not something that I think many of us appreciate when we think of the women of the earlier years, from putting food on the table to rearing the children, to ensuring that the Sunday school classes were taught, to looking even after the commerce and education. And yet today they still stand front and center, pastoring, serving in ministry and the like. So welcome to you, Pastor Yolanda.
Thank you.
And Miss Sophie, welcome.
Thank you.
And to our good friends visiting, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas
tardes.
That is an opportunity for us to appreciate that we live in a very globalized village, but so interconnected. Despite the 1,000 languages that are spoken here, just in West Bay alone, the many different people and cultures, we can share and serve a living God.
Yes, and I think God is bringing us all together from all the languages, all the nations, and especially to help us all to be strengthened in our faith in this day and hour.
Wow. Now, as we look at the opportunities in particular this time of year for many to assemble. For some of us, and I don't say this jovially and hopefully disrespectfully, but we go to church maybe 2 or 3 times a year, Mother's Day, Easter, Christmas, and maybe some of the time in between. Not you guys, I'm talking about myself. And yet that in itself can, for some, be such a reminder of that rearing that we received when we were quite young. But when the women can specifically come together and share just among themselves the experiences that they have, the needs of, as women, as mothers, as sisters. It's an important time to have that retreat.
It is. Our women ministry considers the retreat a necessary part of our ministry every year. It's a time to get away, a time to focus on God. Then we have an opportunity to fellowship with others. And at the end of the retreats, we all leave all the time saying, it was really good.
Well, share more with us as invite you to extend a special invitation to Pastor María.
Ahora vamos a extender la invitación a Ana María Melitza a este programa.
Sí. Okay.
Okay, muchas gracias por habernos invitado a este programa y estar en esta bella isla, ¿verdad? Compartiendo aquí con ustedes.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this program, and it is a great privilege to be visiting this beautiful island.
And what is so particular, and I really appreciate, Pastor Yolanda, you sharing with us, is that in this small community, we recognize that not just the multiple languages and cultures that exist and live and work, but even in our households, some of us hopefully becoming more appreciative of being multilingual, not just bilingual. And those who listen to Radio Cayman, sometimes we'll hear, I just pick on a good friend, Joel, he dedicates some afternoons in his programming to, he called Latin Wednesdays and the like. We hear commercials with Sophia in her studio, but we hear increasingly in our churches the opportunities for fellowship so that the native tongue of the worshipper is able to be reflected for the women's ministry, as Ana María has shared.
Es bueno ver que ahora, en este día, el pueblo cristiano está abriendo las puertas a más nacionalidades y otros idiomas mientras nos fortalecemos en la fe.
Bueno, sí, la verdad que es bueno porque las barreras con Dios no existen.
This is very good because with God, barriers do not exist.
And I'm thinking as you translate and the little bit that I pick up, the fact that there are those who are listening who, in their minds, they're hearing it, Miss Sophie, sort of they're being repeated and they're going, has a feedback in a different tongue. That is not unlike what we probably think when many are assembled, despite the four corners in which we come, that we can still serve and experience the worship, irrespective of our language.
Que cuando se congrega un grupo, no importa qué idioma estemos hablando, eso no impide la adoración y la comunión.
Realmente que no lo impide. Ya he estado en otros lugares donde también solo se habla inglés, sí, y la gloria de Dios la hemos visto en esos lugares.
It really doesn't affect the fellowship and the worship. I have been in other settings, and we have experienced the glory of God, even though people are speaking English and I only speak Spanish.
Yeah. And I think, that's the idea that when we come together, that there is this common bond. And if that's the thread that brings us, then we're stronger.
Que cuando nos juntamos, aunque seamos de otras nacionalidades y lengua, hay una unión común.
Sí.
Así es.
All right. Now, can I ask through you, during the retreat, as they share, how it's going to be delivered and then those who are sharing? Because we don't, if the example would be watching on football, for example, a football match, we can watch it. We don't need to hear it once we understand it. The language is the same.
Él está preguntando cómo vamos a hacer en el retiro la presentación. Por ejemplo, si uno está viendo un juego de fútbol, no se necesita un narrador. Cada persona que entiende el juego puede entender lo que está pasando.
La verdad es que en el Dios que yo creo, Él es el que resuelve todo.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that the God that I serve will work it all out, but I can share that she will speak in Spanish, or they will speak in Spanish, and we will have translation to English.
Now, Miss Sophie, from that perspective, there's some of us who have traveled either to conferences or have been in situations where the language, the communication, maybe it's the song. We don't necessarily know it, but we know it, even though we don't know the actual words. It doesn't matter. We can still be part of the fellowship, be part of the enjoyment.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally agree. I mean, it's all about the feeling that you get, when you're surrounded by people of God, and it doesn't matter what language they're speaking, you feel it, and we all worship the same God, so it doesn't really matter, what language they speak. And then, of course, we'll have translations into English, so that should make it easier for a lot of people,
All right. Well, as we go into the break, and then we can come back and talk more and ask it, just quickly share with our people. It's coming up, end of the month. I mean, 2 Saturdays away, but tell us just briefly, and then we can talk more about after the break.
Sure. Okay. So the retreat will be held on the 26th and 27th of April, which is next week, Friday and Saturday. On the Friday, it will be from 7 to 9 p.m. In the church. It will mostly be a praise and worship session. So it's just singing and, praising God. And then on the Saturday, it will be from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., which is the main retreat, which will include lunch and breakfast. The cost is $25, and that includes all meals, the breakfast and the lunch. And it will be held at the FLC. The Saturday event will be held at the FLC, which is the Family Life Center on 22 Academy Way in the Celebration Hall. And for details of how to register, you can call the church office at 949-9393 or email cogcgt@cndw.ky, cndw.ky. And on the Sunday, which is the 28th of April, we'll also be having a special church service where our guest speakers will also be sharing their testimony as well.
Okay. If I could, then when we come back to the break, perhaps ask both, Ms. Melita and Ms. Anne-Marie, maybe share briefly the testimony to understand how, especially in this time, how things is so important. Would that be fine?
That will be fine. And I just wanted to add to what Sophie shared, that you don't want to miss this. Mm-hmm. So sign up early. This testimony cannot be given in one setting, and so it's going to be broken down over the period of time that they will be sharing. Uh-huh. But if anybody can't make all the events, try to at least make it for Saturday.
All right. Well, when we come back, I want to join us because I think we recognize the times in which we live and the challenges, but sometimes we question whether there are miracles. I still believe. Maybe you will too. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after,
visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
Brit K, where people come first.
Why my wife always asking if I'm in a rush when she's the one always making us late?
Might as well say, yeah, I'm in a rush and go buy the new Toyota Rush you've been talking about. Cause they on sale this month. That'll teach her.
The super special spring SUV sale at Vant Motors. Save up to $4,400 with SUVs starting at only $23,500, like the 7-seater Toyota Rush. Save money, get cash back, or use the discount to upgrade features on the SUV of your choice, including the Toyota RAV4, the Fortuner, the Rush, or the Ford EcoSport. It's our super special spring SUV sale. Only at Vant Motors, Walkers Road. This Easter weekend, the Cayman Islands will welcome the rest of the Caribbean, and you do not want to miss it. Carifta 2019 takes place at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex from April 20th to 22nd. Watch the region's most talented track and field athletes compete and come cheer on your Cayman athletes. Get ready to raise your flags at the Caribbean's biggest athletic event this Easter weekend. It's Carifta 2019. Tickets start as low as $10.
Get your tickets now at CaymanCarifta2019.ky or Funky Tanks and Reflections. Brought to you by the Cayman Islands Government, CUC, Salt Technology Group, the Cayman Islands Athletic Association, Cayman Islands Olympic Committee, DART, Miracle Brokers, Maples Group, Pinnacle Media, World Gym, and Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us, and I appreciate this opportunity, especially in these challenging times, not only here in this small sphere, but globally equally. Very grateful to Pastor Yolanda, Miss Sophie, and Miss Anna Maria, and together, Miss Belitza, because if we are reminded, of others' success, but also their service, of their struggles, but also their achievements, we can do much. Pastor Yolanda, you were sharing that the whole notion of the women's retreat specifically gives more of us, especially our wives and the mothers who their labor sometimes almost seems like it's tirelessly. They drive the homes, they drive the businesses, they drive our communities. It's important for the ministry and the retreat specifically. When those attending, what would they experience? What is it that you're sharing specifically with them?
¿Quiere que expliquemos qué es lo que se va a compartir en el retiro para el beneficio de los participantes?
Bueno, yo les traigo un mensaje de fe.
I am bringing a message of faith.
Un mensaje de esperanza.
A message of hope.
De un Dios real.
A message of a God who is real.
Misericordioso y fiel.
A God of mercy and a God who is faithful.
Él es un Dios que todo lo que para nosotros es imposible, Él lo hace posible.
He is a God who, whatever seems impossible to us, is not impossible with Him.
La historia de mi hija puede haber sido lo más duro y trágico que hemos vivido en los años que tenemos.
The story of my daughter could be the most tragic and horrible experience anyone could have.
Pero como dice la palabra en Juan 11:4,
but as the Word of God tells us in John 11, chapter 4, John 11, verse 4. When he heard this, Jesus said, "This sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it."
Muchas veces, o casi yo pienso que siempre, el Señor permite que pasemos pruebas.
I believe that God allows us to have testings.
Prueba nuestra fe.
He tests our faith.
Y si logramos superar y caminar con Él en ese proceso,
if we're able to overcome and walk with God during that process,
vemos su gloria,
we will see His glory.
Y le damos la gloria a Dios.
And we then can give Him glory.
Nuestra historia es muy dolorosa.
Our story is a very painful one.
Mi hija era una hija sana.
My daughter was a fully healthy girl.
Víctima de la maldad humana.
But became victim of the evil of men.
Y como consecuencia la desahuciaron a solo 3 años de vida.
And as a result of the mishap she experienced, she was only given 3 years to live after this terrible experience.
Los exámenes mostraban que Milixa tenía un cerebro en el 80% dañado.
The tests showed that Militza's brain had 80% damage.
Fue un proceso difícil.
It was a very difficult process.
Fue un proceso doloroso.
It was painful.
Pero le creía a Dios.
But I believed that God.
Aun cuando miraba que mi hija podía morir en cualquier momento.
Even when I looked at my daughter and thought she could die any minute.
Me llamaron loca.
People called me crazy.
porque ya los médicos habían dicho la última palabra.
Because the doctors had already given their last word.
Pero Dios me había dado la última palabra a mí.
But God had already given me His last
Y me
word.
dijo, si crees, grandes cosas verás.
God said to me, if you believe, you will see great things.
Hoy mi hija está viva.
Today my daughter is alive.
Su examen dicen que ella tiene un cerebro casi perfecto.
The test that has been done on her reveals that her brain function is 100% healthy.
En sus estudios dicen que sus exámenes son normales.
Her studies show that her test results are normal.
Y eso solo Dios lo puede hacer.
And something like that, only God could
Pero
do.
tenemos que estar dispuestos a pagar el precio.
But we must be prepared to pay the price.
Un proceso en el cual Dios provee todo lo que necesitamos.
It is a process in which God will provide everything that we need.
Y nos da la fuerza, la fe, la paciencia.
He gives us the strength, the faith, and the patience.
Durante pasamos ese proceso, si lo pasamos de su mano.
While we're going through the process, if we put it in His hands.
Y yo quiero invitar a toda la población caimanés
I want to extend an invitation to the entire Cayman population
a que nos acompañen
to come and support this ministry
y que escuchen un testimonio real
and to come and hear a testimony that is real,
donde sé que el Señor va a aumentar la fe de cada uno de ustedes.
where I know that God is going to increase the faith of all who hear this testimony.
Independientemente de la situación que estén pasando en este momento.
It doesn't matter what the circumstance you are going through at this moment.
Porque yo les vengo a compartir, hablarles de un Dios proveedor.
This word will help you to see God as your provider,
sanador,
as healer,
misericordioso,
as a merciful God,
protector,
a God who protects,
un Padre que está ahí para darnos todo,
a Father that is there to give us everything.
Y Él solo nos pide que tengamos la fe del tamaño de un grano de mostaza.
All He requires of us is to have faith as big as a mustard seed. And even though we say a women retreat, because men have inquired, we're opening it to men because the word is for everybody really, and especially young people.
Mi fe tuvo que mover la montaña de la muerte.
The faith I exercised removed the mountain of death.
Pero Dios me dijo que si yo creía, grandes cosas vería.
As I said before, God revealed to me that if I would believe Him, I would see great things happening.
Mi hija estuvo en coma casi 3 años.
My daughter was in a coma for almost 3 years.
Todos decían que ella iba a morir.
Everyone was telling me she would die.
Pero Dios dijo que ella iba a vivir.
But God said she would live.
Y por eso hoy estamos aquí en esta isla.
And that is why we're here today.
Para invitarlos a todos a que crean en este Dios maravilloso.
To invite the entire community to believe in this God who is awesome.
Y los invitamos que lleguen realmente. No van a perder el tiempo.
We invite you to come to this retreat. We guarantee you it's not going to be wasted time.
Les vamos a hablar con pruebas.
I'm going to be sharing with the evidences.
Y van a ver cómo Dios sí es real.
And by these things you will see how real God is.
Si no tienes trabajo,
if you don't have employment,
si estás enfermo,
if you're ill,
si tienes cualquier situación,
any situation you find yourself in.
El Señor dice, clama a mí y yo te responderé.
God tells us, call unto me and I will answer you.
Los invitamos.
We invite you.
Y los esperamos ahí.
And we will be looking forward to seeing you all at the retreat.
Y sé que saldrán renovados.
I know that all who participate will leave that retreat renewed,
fortalecidos,
strengthened,
y con una fe
and with an increased faith
que sobrepasa todo entendimiento.
That will be beyond all understanding.
El mundo es para los valientes.
This world now is for the brave.
Los hijos de Dios somos valientes.
And we, the children of God,
está en nuestras manos tomarlo.
Are brave warriors, and it's our responsibility to take this.
Y veremos los milagros todos los días.
And we will see miracles day after day.
Mil gracias por habernos dado este espacio.
I greatly appreciate this time of sharing.
Y también están invitados.
And you're welcome to attend as well.
Igualmente, yeah. You know, as I listen, and thanks for the translation, because my Spanish isn't as good as my West Beings, but as I listen, I think, Miss Sophie, many of us who sometimes look at things in this realm, we see, I guess, education and the accumulation of wealth, and sometimes we fail to appreciate that miracles happen today, not just 2,000 years ago, but today, and not just in some remote place, but here, and to listen to the testimony, the story, and to appreciate the faith that we could have, but also the fate that may befall us. For those who are listening, thinking, you know what, I'm so far removed from this. How do we get them to appreciate that? We need to be in fellowship.
Well, based on this testimony, you will realize that miracles do happen every day. And they happen in any country, anywhere, at any time, and it just makes us have more faith knowing that, there is a God up there who's listening to our prayers and answers our prayers. And, miracles do happen, and, we just have to believe and have faith.
If I might just ask once more. In English, you do the translation. We see circumstances that happen, and sometimes it's the difficult circumstance, but it's also the person of strong faith. Is it that the two go hand in hand in order for the outcome, or you could be a person of strong faith and your circumstance could be a positive one to use as a testimony like this, or is it always the story of the difficult thing, you're knocking on death's door, as it were, before the revelation?
Él está preguntando si tiene que ocurrir una circunstancia desastrosa como ustedes pasaron para poner en práctica una fe fuerte, o si va mano en mano ya tener una fe fuerte y pasa una circunstancia desastrosa como la tuya y se puede avanzar con fe.
No debemos esperar a que sucedan cosas feas.
We need not wait until the terrible experiences to develop our faith.
No debe ser esto lo que motive a creer, a tener fe.
This should not be the reason for us to be motivated to trust in God.
Pero los seres humanos somos duros de corazón.
But we human beings are hardened in heart.
Deberíamos de tener fe todos los días.
We should exercise faith every day.
Y dar gracias a Dios cuando estamos bien.
And be grateful to the Lord when things are going well.
Pero lo mismo, nuestro corazón duro,
but because we have hardened hearts,
no lo entiende hasta que pasamos por momentos difíciles.
We don't really understand until we are facing the difficulties.
Pero créanme que cuando tenemos fe,
But believe me, when we have faith,
podemos hacer grandes cosas.
we will see great things taking place.
Gracias. And if I asked for a scripted answer, that would be. And the reason, thank you so much for sharing that. The reason why I'm asking is that we look at our mothers, particularly the women, our mothers, the praying mothers in our society. They're praying for their husbands and their children. Their children as they go to work, as they go off to school. And because of that prayer, we see it coming back. It's being manifested in our society. And if the nation would continue to pray for its blessings, recognizing from whom the blessings come, we're losing that. Yeah.
Él está diciendo que en la sociedad vemos madres cuando sus hijos tal vez van a estudiar, están en oración por esos hijos y vemos los resultados de esos jóvenes que están bajo esa cobertura, y él siente como que hoy en día estamos perdiendo esa bendición de madres que oran.
Creo que por eso es que Dios me ha traído a esta isla.
I believe this is one of the reasons God has brought me to this island.
Para que la familia volvamos a retomar esa comunicación con Dios.
For families to come back to that place of our communion with God.
Dios no nos está pidiendo que seamos religiosos.
God is not asking of us to be religious.
Él nos pide que tengamos una relación con Él.
He is asking that we develop a relationship with Him.
Por eso yo hoy invito a cualquier persona de la isla.
And this is why I insist on inviting everyone on this island.
Independientemente de su credo religioso.
Despite what their religious belief might be.
A que escuchen un testimonio.
To hear this testimony.
De una joven que soñó con ser médico.
This testimony of a young girl who dreamt of becoming a medical doctor.
Y que uno de sus docentes la abusó sexualmente.
And whom one of her professors sexually abused of her.
E hicieron muchas cosas para que ella nunca pudiera hablar.
They did horrible things to her so that she would never be able to talk again.
Pero Dios la tiene aquí.
But God has her here.
Para hablar, para compartir.
So that she could share with the attendees.
Y para decirnos que jamás el mal puede vencer el bien y el amor de Dios.
And to say to everyone that evil cannot overcome good.
I think...
And I would encourage all the young people to make the effort to attend. Parents, if you are able to sponsor your child, please do so. Others, if you're able to sponsor more than one child, even if it's not your own, because I truly believe that there is a word for all the young people when going abroad to school. And caution, I mean, in her case, it wasn't her neglect, but just the evil in the heart of men.
And thank you. I mean, it is challenging when you sit in the role of a parent and wanting the very best for your children. When you believe that you're sending them places that are going to help them to come back to help their communities and to see the evil that exists in this world.
Este es un reto para cada padre al enviar a sus hijos para estudiar una carrera y ver la maldad que existe en el corazón de la humanidad.
Sí, la verdad es que la humanidad está llena de maldad.
The truth is that there's so much evil in the hearts of men.
Pero a mí me gustaría cerrar mi participación.
I would like to close
repitiendo esta palabra del Señor en Juan 11:40.
I'm sharing from the word in John 11, verse 40.
Donde él nos dice que Jesús le dijo, no te he dicho que si crees, verás la gloria de Dios.
Amen.
Then Jesus said, did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?
Yo los invito a que comencemos a ver la gloria de Dios.
I invite everyone to come and let's begin to experience the glory of God.
Nuestro testimonio es muy doloroso.
Our testimony is a very painful one.
Pero creímos.
But we believed.
Y estamos viendo la gloria de Dios.
And we're seeing the glory of God. And we ask the community to pray too for this young girl, because the scars, the trauma are still affecting her. She can walk now. She can talk some. She has her full mental capacity. But it will take God to bring her to the place where this is not affecting her psychologically.
Next weekend?
Next weekend, starting Friday night, Friday at 7 to 9, time of worship, and also Anna Maria will begin sharing. Saturday from 8 to 3:30, and Sunday at 10:30 at the Church of God Chapel. Saturday at the Family Life Center, Friday evening at the Church Sanctuary as well. See you there.
All right. Thank you very much. Blessings to you. We'll pause and take a break. When we come back, more talk today.
Awake your taste at Daily Grind Cafe, Cayman's longest running coffee shop. Enjoy our cozy ambiance at Dr. Roy Drive, Georgetown. Or visit us online to view our delectable menu and for limited time offers at dailygrindcayman.com.
You don't have to run all over town looking for good help. Call G&A Spectacular Cleaning for all of your carpet cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, maid services, pressure washing, and a whole lot more. Our clients can certainly attest to our reasonable prices and great service. Call 323-5237 or 917-5798. G&A Spectacular Cleaning. We give cleaning a whole new meaning.
This Easter weekend, Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor will be closed on Good Friday, but open again to take care of your health on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and on Sunday and Monday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Our Governor Square location will be open on Saturday, 10 to 6. Healthcare Pharmacy will be ready for Cayman's Easter campers with sunblock, water toys, snorkeling gear, and waterwear. Need to refill or transfer your prescription? Simply go to healthcarepharmacy.ky and we'll have your meds ready for pickup. We take care of your health at Healthcare Pharmacy, Grand Harbor and Governor Square.
Attention accounting service providers. According to the Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorist Financing Regulations, all firms providing accounting services, including but not limited to bookkeeping, payroll, accounts preparation, or tax advice, are required to register with the Cayman Islands Institute of Professional Accountants by May 30th. Free workshops will be provided on May 3rd, 10th, and 17th. For more information, call 749-3360. Email admin@ciipa.ky or visit ciipa.ky.
We are Radio Cayman, and this is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody, stand up and sing one more. Hallelujah, give your praise to the Lord. We are united in Jesus Christ. We are the soldiers of the land.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
There's a meeting up in heaven. Roll call. He's a name in the Lamb's Book of Life. Roll call, brother, sister. Roll call. If you don't stop shouting, if you don't stop dancing, we're going to put you out of our church.
Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Your song flowed through my lips. Your work moved through my hands. Your thoughts stay on my mind. Live in me.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
on a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for joining us. Let's have a few minutes of some open line, and then at 1:30, the Honorable Deputy Governor will step into our studio, chance to chat and celebrate the great accomplishments of all those who serve diligently, tirelessly, and do so with a sense of service, sacrifice, and pride. And I can't, if you were able to listen and were mindful to tune in and pay attention, the opportunity to just presented itself to listen to a mother share a story of a young daughter sent off to medical school, and ambitions and aspirations, the sacrifice that some of us make in order to not just better our lives, but hopefully to continue to uplift our communities and be of greater service, to our societies, and then to be affected in such a way, not just because of some mishap, but because of some malicious, evil, deliberate act of another. It is unfortunate, and as many of us look at our own experiences, at things that have occurred here, whether on the roads or in other places, or whether we have, ourselves, or we've come across it in some, walks of life, these events that transpire, it seems, almost anywhere and everywhere, and the most unsuspected and most unexpected of places, whether in the classroom, or whether in the home, or whether in the workplace, or whether in the park. And we have to wonder why and how and what we can do. Our phone lines are open, and as Susan gets to answering the phones, we'll take your calls and we'll have you share with us. After the news headlines, we'll have some open line. We'll share with you equally an invitation on behalf of the Ministry of Sports and Honourable Minister and the Ministry and all those organisers and volunteers to be a part of the upcoming CRIFTA. But there's a lot to not just to embrace, not just to try to endure, but to consider what's transpiring within our society. And sometimes you have to question, from the pastor to the politician, the things that may, fall to their ears as they listen, as they're being, sort of informed. How much of what transpires in our society are we ignoring? Are we aware of? Are we consciously trying to avoid? How much would it surprise us? Not just globally, just look within our own neighborhoods. Maybe let's look at our wider jurisdiction. How much do you think we know that's unfolding, and how much would shock us? Or how much would we say, well, that's just par for the course? And then when we do become conscious of it, what are we doing to make it better? I want to invite you to join us after the news break. You may be an individual who has no interest nor desire to listen, hear, or share anything about any testimony or the uttering of miracles. Or you may actually think, wow, this still happened today. And that's refreshing, that's rejuvenating, and it may be inspiring, and it may be encouraging, and it may find in you that it quickens your spirit and causes you to want to move on and even be better. That it just, gives you that extra little push so that you can continue on your journey. Or it may be that thing that just wakes you up and causes you to not lose hope. But there are those who will look at it and say, oh boy, here we go again. Hey, if we can't be tolerant and accepting on all sides of the equation, we have to figure out why. So 949-8037 or 949-6990. We'll join our news team to hear an update from them as they continue to inform us of what is unfolding in the world according to the news desk. We'll have open line until 1:30. We'll give an update relative to the Crifton. We can share some information. You know that there is a new road that's going to be opened from Walker's Road just in time for Crifton, specifically to allow access to the games to be much more efficient, effective, and the like. We'll also remind you of where tickets can be had. We know that Reflections always, partners with the community in order to make it easier. There are many outlets to have their tickets, and Crifton tickets are available there. So too at Funkatank. So we can tell you all about that and have you share with us on other issues. So 949-6990 or 949-8037 is the numbers. Let's pause and take a break, go to our news, and then when we come back, I will invite you to be a part of our open line here on Talk Today. And then at 1:30, we're expecting the opportunity to speak to the government employee of the year as he joins us then. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Bracken, Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
RCIPS community officers in West Bay conducted a walkthrough at the 7 Mile Public Beach. The officers spoke with beachgoers and visited vendors and businesses in order to provide public reassurance, increase community engagement, and address any violations of the law. During the walkthrough, business owners and members of the public stated they were glad to see the officers out and about and commented on increased police presence in the area over the past few months. Good afternoon. I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, former Peruvian President Alan Garcia has died after shooting himself as police arrived at his home to arrest him over bribery allegations. Mr. Garcia was rushed to hospital in the capital, Lima. His death was confirmed by current President Martin Vizcarra. U.S. scientists have partially revived pig brains 4 hours after the animals were slaughtered. The findings could fuel debate about the barrier between life and death and provide a new way of researching diseases like Alzheimer's. The study showed the death of brain cells could be halted and even restored some connections in the brain. And the heads of 2 major central banks have written a stark warning about the financial risks of climate change. Bank of England Governor Mark Carney and France's Francois Villeroy de Gallau set out the dangers to the global economy in an open letter. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Spring is in the air and Easter around the corner. So too is Savannah Pharmacy, your located in Countryside Shopping Village. Stocked with Easter gifts and treats and new spring apparel. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. Get all of your Easter purchases at Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village or call 946-3336. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy located in Countryside Shopping Village.
At Flow, we know that 4 are better than 1. Introducing Flow Quad Play. Packed with the fastest, most reliable broadband, the power and control of Flow Evo TV, Cayman's best mobile experience, and tons of home phone minutes, all in one convenient package from only $199 a month. With 4 plans to choose from, you're sure to find one that fits your needs. It's value, ease, and convenience all on one bill with Cayman's #1 network. Find out why 4 are better than 1 with Flow Quad Play at discoverflow.ky. Terms and conditions apply.
Money Sense, bringing an informed financial perspective to the Cayman community. Brought to you by the CFA Society Cayman Islands and sponsored by One Trade X. Tune into Money Sense this Thursday, 7:30 a.m. as we interview the victorious team from UCCI that recently won the Pan-Caribbean Research Challenge with the CFA Institute. Listen to them discuss the competition, the company they researched, and their plans for their upcoming appearance in the finals in New York City. Money Sense this Thursday at 7:30 a.m. exclusively on Radio Cayman. Follow us or message us on Twitter at Money Sense Radio. Money Sense, the only personal finance radio show in the Cayman Islands. Brought to you with the support of One Trade X.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Let's have some open line. Invite you to share your thoughts with us. It is 949-6990 or 949-8037. Welcome. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Yes. Hello, Sterling. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good to hear from you again. I trust all is well with you.
You sure of that?
Yes, sir. Hey.
Seems to me like I keep trying to get in there when your guests are on, but they never seem to have time for me to have an opposing view, I suppose.
Well, you're on now. I do apologize.
But I would prefer to be on when the guests are there.
Well, listen, the invite is always, if you want to come into the studio and sit opposite me and we can chat, you can take up that invite anytime you want. But
take my number and give me that call.
Yes, sir. Give me that number. You want me to leave it with Susan or you want to give it to me now?
I give it to you now, 924-6119.
924-6119.
That's it.
All right. Dexter Barton. Yeah, man. We can chat.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask those people, they were talking and giving these testimonies
Mm-hmm.
about how God performed all these miracles.
Uh-huh.
Were there any doctors or nurses or any other humans involved in her care?
You would recall from what they shared with us just on air that the physicians, the doctors had said, because of the extent of the injuries and the like, that we're sorry, there's nothing more we can do for you. You can expect her to pass anytime now. She was in a coma, as they shared publicly, for 3 years. And then the doctors had said, sorry, there's no more we can do. But she's still here. Now, some would say, yep, a miracle. Some would say, well, it's just a coincidence. You can have your perspective. Some believe one way and some believe another.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My perspective would be she survived for 3 years, but had the doctors not done anything initially from the beginning to help treat her, would she survive for 3 years?
That is a perspective.
Had there not been any human involvement at all, would she survive?
What do you make of the behavior of us people, the way we treat others, our acts of violence, abuse, or attempts to either kill or seriously injure others? I mean, what do you think of that? How does that fit into the equation of the world in which we live? To your perspective.
I suppose people have issues with being angry
Mm-hmm.
and have issues with not being able to control that anger.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's people who are narcissistic, who think that they're the greatest thing that ever lived, or they should be the greatest thing that ever lived, and everyone else is insignificant to them. So there's too many people with that kind of mentality.
So how do we address that? And I mean, it's one thing, I believe we would agree, for people to have a different view, to be free to say, I like or don't like, I believe or don't believe, I agree or don't agree. But when we take that and we become belligerent, we become so incensed with that particular view that we cause harm to others, whether by our own physical hands or we pick up some sort of object and we inflict great pain, suffering, even death upon others. I mean, how do we get to a point? Can we get to a point where we don't have that sort of behavior?
Well, I don't know all about that. And I honestly didn't call for you to question me as to how I feel about societal woes. I was calling about religious bigotry and religious fakery. That's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
I want to talk about the reality of life and the lack thereof, and the fact that a radio station like Radio Cayman can be used, which is a publicly owned station, can be used to promote one particular form of religion in what we supposedly call this multicultural society, where everyone does not believe the same thing.
Right. And I hear you, but then a couple of things, and I won't shy away from believing that if this society is supposedly talking about being a Christian society compared to other societies that may ascribe predominantly to another sort of religion. But if we're not doing it, and then the Cayman community, we have churches from different denominations that are predominantly of particular nationalities and languages. If the Radio Cayman Airwaves isn't used to convey that message, then how is that message going to get out if it's going to reflect the society?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, fair enough. And then what about the idea that when we look within this context, maybe this is a discussion that we could have together. You can come on. Would you want just us so you can have your piece without interruption, and then just you and I chat? Would that be maybe the best way to go, or should we have someone else? Well, I'll call you right after the show. How about that? But before you go, what else you want to share with us? Oh, sorry, wasn't us. So if that got disconnected, please, if someone can share with you, it wasn't on this hand. I don't know. Maybe he disconnected. I will call Mr. Dexter though, because I always believe that it's good to hear different views. Don't need to always accept them, but it'd be good to be able to hear them sometimes. Let's go to the phones. Do we have another caller? Welcome. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Yes, good afternoon, Dave.
KB, good afternoon, man. How are you?
Okay.
Good to hear from you as well.
Yeah, some people are just stubborn and ignorant.
Sometimes.
I won't say any more about that. That's not what I called about. Concerning when I called Mr. Art Connor's show a few mornings ago, Mr. Miller was on. And I asked him if Cayman was to go independent today, what would be the value of the dollar? And Mr. Miller said the value of the dollar would stay the same. He said it was because of our seafarers who built the foundation and because of our hard work as Caymanians, it is the reason our economy is where it is today, and because of that is why the value of our dollar is where it is today also. Not because of the help of England. But he said, once we continue on the same track and don't do anything that we would regret, that 15 or 20 years from today, the value of our dollar will not be the same. It will be worse.
So you think independence then, to your perspective, then would not only make our dollar, like we see with other currencies that have been devalued, but it would make our standard of living or quality of life that much less? That's your contention?
Well, like Mr. Miller said, once we don't do anything foolish to destroy the value of our dollar, if we went independent today, it would stay the same. And Mr. Steve McFeel called in and said it's very important that we educate our people more about independence. And from the conversation we were having, as a Caymanian, born in 1969 in Georgetown Hospital, before our mother country, England, before they tell us what they want us to do, not need us to do, or asking us to do, telling us what they want us to do. Before we continue that type of relationship with England, such as same-sex marriage, such as wanting people from England to run for election in the Cayman Islands and be a member of the Legislative Assembly, things such as that. Before that happens, I personally, as a Caymanian, would vote for independence.
Mm-hmm.
And I would vote for independence and would try to educate the people of the Cayman Islands as soon as possible while our dollar has the value that it has today. And while our economy is as good as it is today.
From your perspective, then, why does our dollar have the value it does today? How did that?
Well, like Mr. Miller said, and like Mr. Steve McField said, it was because of our seafarers sending their money home to Cayman that started and built the foundation that we have in concerning our economy and in concerning the value of our dollar. It was not because of England in any way that our economy is where it is today, or because the value of our dollar is where it is today.
Right. Now, if we were to go independent, can I ask two questions if you don't mind? First, how soon should we go? Next year, next 5 years, 50 years? I mean, from your perspective, when do you think we would be ready if we started preparing now to go independent?
Well, Dwayne,
Mm-hmm.
when I asked that question to Mr. Miller and Mr. O'Connor on his show, I'm listening to him, Mr. Miller, listening to Mr. O'Connor, listening to Mr. Steve McField, and then Mr. Hurston called in and said we would have to change our constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And once we put things in place such as our constitution, that people are only allowed to be presidents for a certain amount of time, and once things are put in that constitution, that corruption does not start, and we keep on the same track as it is today, and keep our economy the same as it is today, and the value of the dollar as it is today,
Mm-hmm.
I recommend independence.
Right.
And I recommend it as soon as possible. And when I say as soon as possible, like Mr. Steve McField said, we have to educate our people in order for them to understand. And by me asking that question a few days ago
Right.
to Mr. Miller and Mr. O'Connor, they educated me in that few minutes that I talked to them and made me wise enough to know that independence is not something that I should be afraid of buying.
Right. Well, you've answered that second question that I was going to ask in that. And if we look at the whole idea of being a more autonomous, if you want to say independent nation, is that something that, we have the resources now to consider? Or have we done ourselves a disservice by not even talking about it?
Yeah, that's where the educated part comes in.
Right.
And I heard the government workers a few months ago writing letters and saying that they want Franz Magnuson, Mr. Franz Magnuson, of the government to be the permanent governor. This is what they were saying now,
Mm-hmm.
But in order for us to do that, come on now, team. Common sense will tell you we have to go independent.
Well, I've heard that, right? And the question is, why is it that in this society, there was a time ago when we said the Auditor General, the Attorney General, and I think the Commissioner of Police even could not be a Caymanian. Now we continue to say that the Governor can't be a Caymanian. Why is that? Why can't why isn't it that more Caymanians are able to work within the foreign service, as it were, whether they're serving in this jurisdiction or in another, or working within the UK? do we really have to have someone else who's not a Caymanian be the governor? I mean, could I not be governor? Miss Susan be a governor? Or yourself? I mean, maybe I want to aspire to be the governor of the country. If I lived in the U.S. and I was born in the U.S., I could have the aspiration of being president, right?
Well, Dwayne, this is all part of the reward of being independent. Having Caymanians as Commissioner of Police, Chief Fire Officer, the Governor of the Cayman Islands, all these things is what we will have as Caymanians.
Yeah. But if I can, as I listen to you, if I can ask, as we're looking at our country, and this is not said to, I want everybody to look at it as a slight. When we use the word nation building, when we're talking about, advancing, so it's not just constitutional in relation to independence or but uplifting and building a stronger, more united community. Have we continually lost track of the vision? Are we lacking in a sort of long-term collective vision as to what we want the country to look like? Are we failing to sort of encourage a semblance of true unity? That despite our differences, we're in this boat together. So if the community is safe, then we're all safe. And that safety could extend not only to being safe in your homes, or you're out at your favorite eating, drinking place, or you're at your workplace and you're leaving to go to the park, but you're out walking and a dog or some other animal isn't going to come and attack you, right? Because I don't want to use the word common sense, but the accepted practice is that you're going to walk your dog leashed and muzzled. You're going to have a little bag in your hand, or you can pick it up in your own hand and put it in your pocket, but you're going to pick up after your dog, or if you're riding your horse, or whatever you're doing, they're just little things. And this, I say this to somebody, sometimes I'm going to say, well, boy, you're naive and idealistic. That may be true, I don't know. But when we're finished eating the stuff, we're eating the plastic and whatever, either we recycle it or we throw it in the garbage. How many of us, something as simple as that, the word that comes to mind, and forgive me, nasty. I don't know what else to say. So if we don't get to that point where the simple little things that I think are significant, by the way, we're not even addressing, how can we even consider moving forward in any way? You with me?
Yes, I'm with you, Dwayne.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's rhetorical. All right.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, man. I know you do, man. You're
But when you talk about independence, that's a lot more serious than picking up your dog waste off the ground.
Without question. Yes, you are right. But then, what is it the scripture talks about? If you can't take care of the little things, how I expect to trust you with the big things?
And remember, God has those who have themselves. And before I go against the word of God and pass things such as same-sex marriage, I would rather go independent. Because I fear God, the wrath of God, more than I fear going independent.
Well, I can understand why those of us who, like you, have the similar belief would believe that, would say that, yes.
Yeah, and if the deputy governor wants to be the permanent governor of the Cayman Islands, I would encourage him to educate the people of the Cayman Islands also.
Right.
And then he'll be able to be the governor of the Cayman Islands permanently.
True. Now, a question though, and this is just across the board to every position. So from the people who teach in our schools to the people who coach, in our sporting events, to Sunday school instructors, to the highest public officials elected or appointed, to those who work in the private sector, across the board, everybody. Do you think that we have in this society a culture, an ethos, some sort of expectation that the people in position exercise, without question, automatically a strong sense of ethics, integrity, honor, a commitment to the greater good, who's going to serve like we do as we subscribe to some of us in the members of service clubs, service above self. We're doing better and more and as best as we can for others, not to benefit and prosper at their expense. Is it that, or is it like the former so-called publisher we had of the publication that talked about, this whole notion of systemic corruption and all the other stuff that some took as scathing, but maybe he was truthful. Maybe what he was saying was correct.
Dave, you see, if we go independent, and once Cayman doesn't become corrupted like down in Africa, with some of those presidents down there want to be president for 30 years, and doing all kinds of corruption at the same time during those 30 years. And once Cayman doesn't get on the blacklist because of corruption, and once we keep the value of our dollar the same as it is today, and once we keep our economy the way that it is today, there's nothing wrong with us going independent.
Right. But let me just ask, and I don't want to believe it, but this last question. You said, unless Cayman does not become, I'm not saying that we are, but let's ask the question. What if we're already corrupt or perceived to be corrupt? Remember, go back to what the publication shared, that this whole notion that in this country, there's this level of systemic corruption, that there's this practice where people, whether they're in public service or the private sector, that we behave in a certain way that isn't the way that we would expect from, non-corrupt. So what do you think?
Well, we have to make laws. We have to make laws that people who decide to be corrupted will go to prison. Okay. And it's under us, and we have to make laws that are fair. For example, right now, if a police officer goes into a house, or an apartment complex, apartment number 1, apartment number 2, right next door to each other, neighbors. A police officer goes into one apartment, and homosexuality is going on. He's like, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, very sorry. Very sorry about that. He has to close the door. He goes to apartment number 2, and somebody sitting down burning a strip of weed watching TV. And he grabs them and says, come, you're under arrest. That is corruption.
Okay, let's pick that up. And I heard the point. That's a good question to consider. Hey, thanks very much for sharing. And thanks to Susan for letting us engage that extended conversation. Apologize a little bit late for the break, but let's take it. When we come back, maybe we'll go further. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
This Easter Saturday, hop down to Bayshore Mall for Kirk Freeport's Easter at Bayshore Family Event. Join us on Saturday, April 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. for refreshments, cotton candy, popcorn, balloons, face painting, steel drums, and more. There will even be supersized Easter bunnies and a kids scavenger hunt with chocolate prizes. Kirk Freeport's Easter at Bayshore Family Event, April 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bayshore Mall in Georgetown. Free parking behind the mall. Visit kirkfreeport.com for more information.
Did you know your home is wasting electricity right now? Appliances or electronic devices can use electricity even when they are not in use or switched off. Also known as energy vampires, things like your cable box and microwave are wasting your valuable money. Don't let these devices keep sucking your power. To save money, simply group these devices together on a power strip and turn off the strip when it's not in use. Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure's Facebook page for more tips on keeping your home energy efficient. Be an energy advocate.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Come along with me so that you will see the best company for your road safety. You'll get the theory, you'll get the road from the best driving school. that you can afford. Hi, I'm Berman Scott from the Real Thing Driving School. You can find us on Facebook. Call me on 925-5094 or call 922-6223. You'll get the real thing. Yes, it's the real thing. You'll get the real thing. The Real Thing Driving School. Consultation, orientation. Come get your lesson. The Real Thing Driving School.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It is some open line, 949-8837 or 949-6990. Thank you for sharing with us as we go to our phones. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Mom.
Good afternoon to you. An interesting subject, interesting conversation.
Very interesting caller.
Have to admire the tenacity and of the prior caller.
Very passionate indeed.
And a lot of good common sense questions and suggestions, if I may say so.
Thank you.
But I will say this, that as time evolves, as our country progresses, the question of independence has come up before. It's now with us again. And while I am not here advocating it, it is something that I know that the country needs to deal with. It needs to deal with it to, in a sense, we don't want, not even the mother country, the UK, suggesting certain things to us, where we as a people have decided this is what we want to do, this is how we'd like our country to move in the future, and we don't really care for other people's suggestion or even recommending that we take certain steps. However, having said that, I would also caution that we look at those countries, particularly those in the Caribbean, West Indies, who have opted to go independent, and take some lessons from them. I'm not sure of any of them who at this point in time are better off or are enjoying the level of prosperity and financial security as we are now enjoying in Cayman. Of course, that stems primarily from good government and a people that are basic. We grew up with honesty and integrity, and that's something that we hope to cherish. Are there those amongst us who perhaps have raised many questions as to corruption and other things? Absolutely. The questions have been raised. But I believe we need to treat it with caution. We need to be wise. We need to look at many things like our representation on the world stage. Will Cayman be able to afford an embassy in all over the world, in countries all over the world? Is that something that would be attached to our getting independence? I am not sure.
Right.
I am neither saying that we should or we shouldn't, but in approaching the subject and in considering the subject, the pros and cons need to be weighed carefully.
Right.
Because we're looking at a future that we're going to hand to our children. We also need to look at a future where Caymanians are no longer necessarily the people of this soil whose forefathers, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, grandmothers, we now have other nationalities that have been integrated with us. And in some cases, unfortunately, not all of them think along the same lines as indigenous Caymanians do. So while we think of going to the voting booth nowadays, we need to understand that this is not necessarily the indigenous Caymanian. We need to understand that some of the views and aspirations and decision-making rest heavily on those who have gotten Caymanian status or who have been born here into families that are of different nationalities. And, we just need to be careful. Like I said, I'm neither saying go independent nor refuse to go independent. I'm only saying we need to be extremely cautious
be informed
when we are considering the subject.
Yes, ma'am.
And I thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. A couple of comments came through on our WhatsApp while you were saying, so I was looking at them, but I'll share those. But thank you, ma'am, for sharing as we go to the other line. Welcome, you're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you?
Very blessed and thankful. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
All right.
Sterling, I want to ask you this question, but you don't have to answer it now because I want to say something else to you.
Okay.
Sterling, what would it take for us to go independent in the future? And super question, how soon you think that we would have to go independent? So I will leave that there and do another one. And do we have what it takes to go independent? Like Mr. Maxfield said, I need to come out and have some town hall meeting and discuss this situation with us in regards to becoming independent. We need to know all the pros and cons of becoming independent. But I'll leave that there, Sterling.
Fair enough.
Sterling, last week it was Earth Day cleaning up throughout the island.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say that I could not believe the amount of garbage that these persons find in the side of the road and in the bushes and brought them forward to be picked up, Sterling, throughout the island from what I saw. It was a lot of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable, undespicable for such a small island to house so much garbage thrown here and there. I saw where someone crossed my garbage bin at my house and throw the banana skin and the orange peel right down by my garbage bin. My garbage bin is sitting there. How low can an individual get when it comes to help keeping this island clean? And just having the Earth Day just over the weekend, I could not believe Monday and yesterday the amount of garbage that is on the Newlands bypass, which is named Crichton's Boulevard. We got people that are walking and riding on the highway, and all these plastic bottles, plastic cups, bananas, peels, and so forth, food trays. Berlin, I believe it's just spitefulness, what they're doing to this island when it comes to the garbage. It is not about love or care or concern for how Cayman look when these guys, and when I say guys, I mean woman and man, boy,
right,
girl,
right. Yes, ma'am.
throw this garbage out on these streets that they still live here with us and calling Cayman their home right now. I tell you, if environmental health don't do something in regard to this garbage thrown here and there, Sterling, this cleaning up that we got the president coming out doing, and then we got the Earth Day, and then we got other organizations down during the year time and so forth. It's not working because then the people are constantly throwing the garbage out. Sterling, you know what I say? Just Monday when I saw the garbage on the highway, I say, you know what? These people are saying, you know what? Cayman, you pick it up. Make your lazy people pick it up. Since they ain't got no job, give them the job to pick it up. And it's got to be a low mentality situation here with this garbage. I don't care. Concern. I just live here and I send my money back to my country. And don't get me wrong, our own people is getting to the point now that they say, well, if they can do it, we can do it too.
Can I ask you though, and don't lose your point, but with that point specifically, do you think it's either one or both? One, people here on a permit are angry, frustrated, they're feeling something, so in order to protest, they're tossing it out on the streets. Secondly, the Caymanians themselves, feeling angry and frustrated, and other protests are tossing it on the streets as a way to, get attention to an issue. Do you think that could be part of the problem that we're facing?
Sterling, all two of those things that you just said there, I agree with you 100%. I believe that's what's happening. The Caymanians are discouraged because there's no job for them. And when I say there's no job for them, when I look at the people who work permit walking with their tools to go to work or riding a bicycle with a bag of tools hang around their neck, and I say, when I see that, I say, Lord, please take them safe wherever they're going.
Amen.
They got these tools in there in a bag hanging in the front of them around their neck. They ride with the weed whackers, and they do this. They walk with a machete to go to a job. Sterling, they say half a loaf of bread is better than none at all. But it comes to the conclusion that the majority of people here, doesn't want a half a loaf. So if they doesn't want a half a loaf, they need to get out there and do what they got to do to get a full loaf of bread or a dozen eggs instead of a half a dozen eggs.
Right. But let me ask, right, again, if you'll let me, that half a loaf, I agree with you. Half a loaf or a slice, something sometimes is better than nothing. But with respect to the half a loaf, what if what is being, well, let me back it up. Many of us would probably be mindful that we were told when we're giving somebody something, we're going to give them the very best. So you don't give away your rags, you give away the good quality stuff, right? So if that half a loaf that is being offered or available to people, let me use the word, is John Joe, is moldy, mildew, is hard, is no good, is not usable. Could that be part of the problem, that they're looking at it and say, oh, geez, it's only a half a loaf, but it's of no good. It's going to make me sick if I eat it. It's all moldy, mildew, and John Joe. What then?
Well, I pray it's not molded in John Joe. I pray it's a good half a loaf of bread.
I hear you. No. I'm saying that something's better than nothing if something's good. But what if that's part of the challenge, that what people are being offered, what is accessible and available to them, is this not even the crumbs that are falling from the table that they believe they should be sharing and eating at the table, but they're not even getting the crumbs. They're getting this thing that is, poisonous fruit, so to speak.
Erlen, we bring all this upon ourselves,
okay,
as far as I'm concerned, because when the construction work was booming here in the Cayman Islands many years ago, we had guys that they're working left, right, and center.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even know what to do. The guys that knew what to do teach them what to do, and they learn. And
right,
they continue going into the construction work and other work that was there available.
Right.
I want to switch and put it this way.
Sure.
Just like the need assessment. I listened to the need assessment this week on the radio. And, no disrespect to those guys, but they made it sounded like need assessment is pretty easy to come to and get some assistance. You just got to go there and give them X amongst the information, and it sounds like they are contented to an extent, because Sterling, I don't know how often they go to visit these homes that they're taking care of. Sterling, do they have any family planning for the young ladies that is constantly having children while they're underneath assessment?
But are they also having, family planning for the young men? Or for, in some cases, just the men generally?
You know what I got to say about that? If I am a woman and I go to need assessment for help, it shows hell to feed no man. It's going to be me and my children accuse my friends.
No, I hear you.
They got these little things, these little persons walking in after sunset in the evening and eating up what the government is giving them, that me and you is working for, to make sure they have something in our paycheck.
I hear you, Mom.
Can't get to the point that we can start it. I got 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't go to work, I don't eat. I got 2 children. They got their own responsibility. They're taking care of themselves and their children.
Mm-hmm.
But me, I got to go work. I ain't got nobody giving me anything, Sterling. I work for what I got to get. But I know I need to go. But Sterling, I just want to say that need assessment needs to do a better job than what they're doing for this, especially young people.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling is going from generation to generation, and it's not going to get any better. And this thing about giving an individual $1,200 towards a rent, and probably the rent is $15, and they will not get the full $15, but they'll help with lights and water. Sterling, when they help an individual like that, how often do they go and see about getting an individual off of that program? Did they go and look at a job within the last 3 months, the last 6 months? Sterling, some of these people is rotating year after year in and year in.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see the senior citizens being taken care of, but not so many young people that we got here in this island. If we got so many young people here who is looking help from need assessment, something is wrong. If it's education, put them in a program to get them up to the park so they can go and hold a job. But, Sterling, this could go a little bit longer.
Yeah,
I know you're coming after a break.
But thank you.
We'll
No,
talk some more.
anytime you wish. And thank you for sharing. And with that, we'll pause and take a break. When we come back, maybe I could, repeat some of the questions that were posed earlier. Perhaps ask a couple of the questions based on what I call is shared. Hey, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Awake your taste at Daily Grind Cafe, Cayman's longest running coffee shop. Enjoy our cozy ambiance at Dr. Roy Drive, Georgetown. Or visit us online to view our delectable menu and for limited time offers at dailygrindcayman.com.
At Powerhouse Gym, where you feel like home in a multicultural energy environment for all. They are dedicated to helping you achieve your fitness goals. Whether you have decided to get in shape, train for a specific sport, boost your energy levels, or even look your best for a special day. With a variety of sports options, group fitness classes, CrossFit outdoor gym, they provide personal trainers and equipment. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center, offers a complete health and recreational environment for the only sports and recreational facility of its kind in the Cayman Islands. For more information, call 946-5464. Email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center. Serious results, period.
Saturday night at 8 o'clock on Breeze Radio, 105.3 FM in Grand Cayman and 91.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. You can listen to your Yesteryear Musical Special Easter Edition, featuring musical reflections of the cross, the crucifixion, and the resurrection. Saturday, 8 p.m. on Breeze Radio, your Yesteryear Musical Easter Edition. Tune in. You'll like it. Your Yesteryear Musical. Enlightening, entertaining, and inspirational.
Did you know that recycling collection containers are located island-wide on Grand Cayman? The Department of Environmental Health's program is an integral part of DEH's waste management responsibility in the Cayman Islands. Start your recycling program at home today. Put your Type 1 and 2 plastics in appropriate DEH recycling containers at all Foster's supermarkets, Kirk Market, or Hurley's Grand Harbor. Please keep the Cayman Islands clean, reduce, reuse, and recycle. For more information about recycling, go to www.deh.gov.ky.
It's Radio Cayman's 43rd anniversary. And to celebrate, we're offering all clients, businesses, and nonprofits special anniversary rates on commercial advertising all through April up until Mother's Day. Increase sales, drive store traffic, and gain customers and interest by advertising on the #1 station in talk radio and news. Radio Cayman 89.9 FM. 30 or 45-second commercials are as low as $10 with 3 advertising packages to choose from. Perfectly tailored for small, medium, or large businesses. Call Anita, Kathy, or Ray at 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky for your Radio Cayman 43rd anniversary sales package today.
This Easter weekend, the Cayman Islands will welcome the rest of the Caribbean, and you do not want to miss it. Carifta 2019 takes place at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex from April 20th to 22nd. Watch the region's most talented track and field athletes compete and come cheer on your Cayman athletes. Get ready to raise your flags at the Caribbean's biggest athletic event this Easter weekend. It's Carifta 2019. Tickets start as low as $10.
Get your tickets now at CaymanCarifta2019.ky or Funky Tanks and Reflections. Brought to you by the Cayman Islands Government, CUC, Salt Technology Group, the Cayman Islands Athletic Association, Cayman Islands Olympic Committee, DART, Miracle Brokers, Maples Group, Pinnacle Media, World Gym, and Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. This is some open line. We take your calls. If you call and share your thoughts with us, we're glad to listen and engage. And if you want to have a little banter, hey, go right ahead. If you just want to vent, hey, don't worry. Susan's listening. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-TALK or 949-6990. Now, tomorrow, just a quick note so you can pay attention. It's Thursday, and God's willing, we have the good company of the Honorable D. Ezra Miller joining us tomorrow. Right? Friday is Good Friday, and then Monday is Easter Monday, and all between, well, we'll tell you about that as well. Then, of course, next week is Karifta weekend, right, Miss Susan? Is that next weekend? Or is it this weekend? Come on, Miss Susan, you can tell us. Get your flags, get your Cayman flags over at the National Museum. No, Karifta is an interesting time. That's on the way this weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 949-8037, 949-6990. Call and share your thoughts with us. As we want to maybe ask you a couple of things to think of. Would be remiss of us if we were not, cognizant of the many, many individuals who go back and forth using the east-west arterial, coming in from the eastern districts and then having to return to their homes in the evenings. To make note that two things, the roads or the road in itself could use, even in the short term, more lighting, better lighting, and perhaps the way we drive on that is a little bit fast. Be a little bit more considerate and a little bit more careful. So if you're a user on the east-west arterial, slow down, pay attention, and be careful. Don't get frustrated. Government, has a plan. They'll get there. Maybe the vision will be a collective one that is shared so that we'll all be able to benefit going forward, not just, between now and the next election, but between that and the next, 100 elections, we'll see a national vision that is embodied by all of us so that we have a safer, healthier community and moving our people back and forth. So if you're on that east-west as it is on the other roads, drive with some due attention and due regard and be a little bit more careful and considerate and courteous. So not so fast. And who knows? All right, 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255 or 949-6990. As I look and smile with Miss Susan as she engages all of us. Let's go to our phones. Welcome, you're on Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dwayne.
My friend, how are you today?
Fine. I hope you're fine too.
Well, thank you for the prayers, man. I hopefully I am. I'm expecting to be.
That's good.
Yeah, man, of course.
First, I want to offer my condolences to the victim of hit and run family. It's very sad such thing happen in this island. The other three important things I want to speak about.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I just waiting for the resignation of the head of the Human Rights Committee. I want to see him resign because he lose the respect of the people of this country, and the trust of the people of this country. And I think I support the call for him to resign, actually, and the entire Human Rights Commission members, they need to resign, and this Human Rights Commission need to be formed by very good, trusted Caymanians who they know this country, they know and respect the values of religion, the values of this country, not they are working for agenda for outside this country. The second one is I'm waiting also for the resignation of the Chief Justice because turning the decision taken by higher court, that means the decision the Chief Justice take was wrong. And when the Chief Justice of a country take a wrong decision, he should be the most one, know the laws and know what is right, what is wrong by law. So when he make a very wrong and big mistake like this and make over 2,500 Caymanians, godly people, come out to demonstrate in the street, I think if he have respect to the position he holds, he need to hand his resignation, because he is losing the trust of those thousands of those people in this country, and he have no right to stay in that position. And the third one is need to resign also is Mr. D. Izzard Miller, because Mr. Miller always saying every decision he take, he go back to the people of North Side. But I don't think in this one, when he support gay marriage, he come back to the elderly people, the old people of North Side. I'm asking them. I know a lot of them listening to me. You godly people.
But they might be hearing you, but are they listening to you?
Do you give permission to Mr. Miller to support gay marriage as the people who vote for Mr. Miller and support Mr. Miller?
I hear your point, right? And if I could ask you, anyone, and let's just use the person of Mr. Miller in the position that he has as elected. He could have a personal opinion on something, but as he has shared many times publicly, if he goes to the assembly and he's expected to vote on something, if his constituents say, listen, we want you to vote this way, then he'll respect that unless he believes that it goes against his personal conscience. So do you think the view he espoused with respect to civil unions is his personal view, or is that your interpretation of it's the mandate of his electorate?
I'm very sure after speaking to a lot of people on North Side, they shocked and surprised, because yesterday newspaper, it have the second page in the newspaper, or the third page was saying, is clear that saying that he supports gay marriage.
Yeah, I understand, but what I'm asking, his view on civil unions, do you think that that's his personal view, or is it his communication from his electorate to say this is our perspective? Because they may not necessarily be one and the same.
Yeah, it's his personal view.
Right.
It's not. I don't think it is the majority. The last thing I want to say here.
Mm-hmm.
When this letter written by 4 opposition members of the House,
right,
clear indication that Mr. Miller not have any support anymore in the House by the opposition's member. So everywhere in the world, in democracy, the leader of the opposition right away hand his resignation from the position of leader of the opposition.
Okay.
If he respects the people.
I hear you. Let me ask of you, only just so that we don't lose focus. With respect to that letter, you probably saw it, maybe everybody who wanted to saw it. Did not the letter say that we don't want you speaking for us, but we don't have an issue with you continuing to be the leader of the opposition as such? Is that your understanding of what you read?
The indication I get from the letter, it's saying to him, they are, shying to tell him clearly, we want you to resign.
Okay, so let me ask you specifically, did the letter from what you saw or your understand of it, did the letter say, hey, we want you to resign as opposition leader? Are we calling on your resignation as from those 4 members that signed it, is that letter asking him to resign as opposition leader?
It's not a direct call, but when you read the letter, I get a copy sent to me by member of the opposition.
Right, okay.
I read it. I read it many times. I understand what is they meant they meant, it is your duty to feel respect to the people of this country and resign. That's what is under,
That's your interpretation. Yeah, I mean, you're fair. It's your opinion. Others may have a different view. Listen, we're going to take the news. At any point in time you want to engage us again, call back. And please do not take this as a slight. I just ignored Miss Susan for 4 to 5 seconds in a minute too long. So we got the news. Let's go to our news. When we come back, you join us and we hear from you. Stay tuned, please.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, these are the biggest stories right now.
Government is looking to implement a new gang prevention strategy. Premier the Honorable Alden McLaughlin said in the past budget, government increased the police budget to hire more officers to help tackle crime. Community policing has also seen a recent boom, with more than 30 neighborhood watch areas now set up across Cayman. The Premier says gang activity is often linked to drugs and firearms, and to reduce the risks associated with those problems, Cayman must improve border security. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, the billionaire founder of Taiwan's electronics giant Foxconn has announced he will run for the country's presidency, citing divine endorsement. Terry Gao will stand in the primaries of the Kuomintang opposition party, promoting a more China-friendly policy. He said sea goddess Mazu encouraged him to promote peace across the Taiwan Strait. A couple have been rescued from a swamp in northern Australia after writing help in the mud to attract attention. Chantel Johnson and her partner were on a fishing trip in Keep River National Park, Northern Territory, when their car became bogged down. They were later rescued by a search team after being missing for 26 hours. And France is to invite architects from around the world to submit their designs for a new spire to sit atop a renovated Notre Dame Cathedral. Prime Minister Edouard Philippe told reporters they hoped for a new spire that is adapted to the techniques and the challenges of our era. The spire was completely destroyed in the blaze that tore through the 850-year-old Gothic building's roof. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Save time, don't stand in line. You can apply for or renew your trade and business license online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just visit dci.gov.ky and click on the Trade and Business Online application link. Now, you don't need to stand in line, take time out of your busy schedule or try to find parking. You can apply for your trade and business license online. Visit dci.gov.ky today and save time for running your business.
This Easter Saturday, hop down to Bayshore Mall for Kirk Freeport's Easter at Bayshore Family Event. Join us on Saturday, April 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. for refreshments, cotton candy, popcorn, balloons, face painting, steel drums, and more. There will even be supersized Easter bunnies and a kids scavenger hunt with chocolate prizes. Kirk Freeport's Easter at Bayshore Family Event, April 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bayshore Mall in Georgetown. Free parking behind the mall. Visit KirkFreeport.com for more information.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It's some open line. According to Miss Susan's clock, it's 5 minutes past 2. Wow, on a Wednesday. I'm only reminded because I thought today was Thursday. So, it is a Wednesday. 949-8037, 1-800-5304-TALK, or 949-6990. This evening, the CPR, the Cruise Port referendum. They have the petition signing over at Four Winds Esso in West Bay. That's right next to the four-way. Alright, so right there between 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. If you are a registered voter, want to be counted, and have a say in calling for a referendum. Now, doesn't mean that you're advocating for the port or that you're opposed to it. There is a perception. But if you want to sign it so that you think that this is an issue of national importance and should be given to the voters to weigh in, if you're in favor of it and the government has an overwhelming majority who go to the referendum, let's assume there is one, and says, yep, let's go build that port, then the government can go forward and say, look, see, we have the mandate to build this port. And whether it's one or more who oppose, they're on the side. So that's 4 to 7 for those who are in and out and about and find that the Four Winds Esso in West Bay is accessible to you. You can sign the petition 4 to 7 p.m. this evening. Now, 949-837, 1-800-534-8255. The caller prior, I was mindful to ask of him as he was sharing his notions of, the calls for resignation. Should we also ask for others? But let's just go to the phones. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
I'm very grateful as usual.
Listen, I hope you don't mind me saying publicly, but that's one good thing about you. Boy. Every time I talk to you, you just have that graciousness, that wonderful spirit of being so thankful, and that is encouraging.
Thank you, Dwayne. And if I might say, just on that note, I'm not one of those who, walks around and makes an announcement to say, I'm a Christian. No, on a serious note.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe that is something you should show.
By their fruits, right?
People should observe that about you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to announce it about yourself. So whatever they think of me, what I can say is that I have a very deep, deep relationship with our Almighty God.
Amen.
I try my best as an imperfect being, to live according to His words. Of course, I'm flawed, but I do try my best. And I've had so many reminders of why I should be grateful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have to be grateful.
Thank you, man. You by their fruits ye shall know them, right?
Sorry?
By their fruits ye shall know them.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't catch all your show, but I did catch where Fomed later was speaking about independence. And it's always been my thought, and especially in recent times, that a lot of things have happened in Cayman that we were not prepared for. We were not even given an opportunity to say how we felt about it. However, it was thrust upon us, and until today we're dealing with the effects of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not advocating by any means that we should run into independence unprepared, but based on everything else that I am seeing as an option, I think we might end up having to do that. So, in other words, we sort of, between a rock and a hard place. And if we had to go into independence, I'm going to say prematurely. I prefer not to say unprepared.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we're just going to have to figure it out along the way and, deal with what comes with it. The alternatives, to me, are not very favorable. So, if you don't want what the alternatives are and the only answer is independence, then I think that's what's going to have to be done. And quite frankly, I see no reason why Cayman couldn't manage, as long as we have the right leadership and advisors and so on. You grow as you go along. So,
mm-hmm.
And even if it means that, things change, as long as those of us who are at home are not affected, and we don't have to make a mass exodus, I think that's where the concern should be put. Of course, there are those who will leave. This is not their home. They have an alternative, that we don't have. So they don't consider this home. And I don't think, and I'm not saying this in a rash way, but I don't think that decision should be based on those who have come here and call it their island, but not their home. It's a big difference. So let us look out for us, those of us who are at home. We're going to have to take the good with the bad. That's life.
Yep.
We don't get everything that we want, but as long as we get what we need, I think we'll be okay. Quite frankly, that's my opinion. I'm not asking anyone to agree with me, but that's my 10 cents worth for the Easter. And on that note, I want to say, again, I'm encouraging everyone to put on their red and navy blue, come out, support Carista, support your team, show, that you love your country. Those who say they are Caymanians, put on our colors, come out and support this event. Not just the team, but support the event. The fact that Cayman is hosting it.
Right.
And
this Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, right?
Sorry?
Is this Saturday, Sunday, and Monday?
The opening ceremony is Saturday, I think, at 4 o'clock.
Right.
And then, of course, after, all the formalities, I do believe they have some events. In fact, I'm sure they have some events going on Saturday evening.
Right.
Then, of course, there are events on Sunday and then Monday, because it's a 3-day thing. And I can't tell you exactly the pricing and stuff like that.
It's $10 for the sessions, and the morning sessions are free, and the afternoons. And then, of course, as we look at it, Cayman hosted it twice before, back in 95, and then again about 9 years ago in 2010. So the access road from Walker's Road going to, I guess that would be east. What's that called?
You have a couple of ways that you can access that complex.
Right.
So you can come off of Smith Road, coming up through Bob Thompson Drive and all around there. I don't want to call names of streets now because I might get lost.
Me too.
But you can access it from there.
Right.
And then, of course, you can access it from the main Walker's Road.
Right.
And I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that there is another access to the complex, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
There's a new road just before you get to the high school that has been opened, so it's probably, I don't know how long that road is, a mile, quarter mile.
I
just
don't know.
off Walker's Road, you turn into that and it'll take you straight into it. So it's very easy, and it's going to be used exclusively, I understand, for this particular access going to the game. So that should make it very easy to get in.
But I'm glad that you said that, because you see, to me, the whole advertising and marketing on this event, it left a lot to be desired. I don't know why. Everything was just done at the last minute and late. Anyway, I'm not here to criticize, but to me, that they could have had some public announcements telling people that, because if you didn't say that, now I wouldn't know.
Right. Well, let me help you too, right? There's parking. The good folks over at Walker's Road, Texaco, and there's some property across there. There's parking on that empty lot in that vicinity. And it's a short walk from there down that road.
Well, for me, I don't consider it a short walk, but anyway, maybe you do. A short walk for me is from my car into my door.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the other thing I wanted to say that perhaps hasn't been said yet, they have T-shirts, Carista T-shirts for sale. I think they're $15. They have all sizes for children, up to, I think it's XXL large. And then they also have red shirts, which are being sold by the CIAAA Association, that say they're red and they say Team Cayman. So they're also on sale for $15. And I heard you say already where the flags are available.
The National Museum.
Yes. Also, I was told that the museum will be setting up a stall at the complex where you can purchase flags and any other memorabilia regarding Cayman. So, I plan to have all my stuff before, just for those, who don't know.
Exactly.
And I know it's the Easter weekend. I know people plan to go camping or off island or whatever. But, if they have a free day or if they just feel like it, just come out and show their support. On the tickets, the other thing I wanted to say is that there's a weekend package ticket as well. Right. Now, I don't know if any more are available, but and I'm understanding they can only be purchased online. But don't take me
right.
for expert on that. Maybe, they should make an inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
I did purchase mine online, but and that is for a particular section of the complex.
Right.
Yeah. So, and if anyone wanted to be seated on that side, like I said, I don't know if you can buy tickets per day or whether you actually have to buy the package. And I know that Joel Francis seems to be the person to get in touch with regarding that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, him and Lance Barnes as the president of the...
President.
Right.
But I would imagine at this point in time, these people are going to be unreachable. But they could send emails and perhaps get an answer because I know several of the teams, they probably have arrived already, but they were coming in today.
Right. And also, too,
I've been involved in tournaments and stuff, and I know how busy you are. And, people might think you're being rude, not answering your phone, but, you're just caught up in, all the last minute sorting and
the logistics,
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm a sports person.
Yeah, wouldn't have known.
And my plea is, just ask everyone, come out. They're children.
Yeah.
Show them the support. They may not bring us any medals, but at least give them the encouragement that we're pleased with them. We're there to show them mankind, and we're proud of them that they're just on the track. And on that note, I want to say I was watching Caribbean Newsline last night, and Cayman is dominating the medals in swimming in Barbados. So that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Listen, thank you for sharing, right? Enjoy this weekend, okay, Mom? Anything else?
Then
all
thank you for accommodating me.
Always. You're incredible. Thank you very much. And as the caller shared, the tickets are selling fast. I would almost want to repeat it in an authoritative way that one of the grandstands probably sold out. But wouldn't want to discourage you from inquiring. So you check it out. Tickets are available, but they're going fast. If they're not already gone, they can almost soon be. Morning sessions are going to be free from what we hear. In the afternoons, you pay for it. 2 sessions in the morning and then again in the afternoon. And it's going to be great. So the evening sessions, I think, is 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And when we come back from the break, we can take some calls, Miss Susan? Yeah, why not? Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Spring is in the air and Easter around the corner. So too is Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy located in Countryside Shopping Village. Stocked with Easter gifts and treats and new spring apparel. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. Get all of your Easter purchases at Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village or call 946-3336. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy located in Countryside Shopping Village.
Country classics.
Well, I was born to coal miner's daughter.
On the road again. They're gonna put me in the movies.
Papa Top again.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Well, I love
country classics.
Young love, first love. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
If you enjoy classic country music, come hang out with Radio Cayman this Saturday, 3:30 to 6 p.m.
In a Mississippi cotton picking Delta town.
This Saturday afternoon, following American Country Countdown, 3:30 to 6 on Radio Cayman.
Just walk on by. Wait on the corner.
Country classics.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex. Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome back to Talk Today, 949-8037 or 949-6990. We'll go to our phones. Welcome, you're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon again, Dwayne.
Welcome back again, man. Thanks for sharing with us.
You're welcome. Well, I mentioned to you a few days ago concerning what Mr. Art Connor said that the banks are doing now. When you bring in $10 worth of quarters in the money pouches, the banks automatically take out $2.50 for themselves. Even if the money is straight $10 CI.
You're losing $2.50.
Yes, they said they're doing so because they have been getting these money pouches that are supposed to have $10 CI, and they've been getting quarters in U.S. quarters and different currencies. So even if the money is straight, which seems as though they're not checking them all at the same time that you turn them in.
Right.
They automatically take $2.50 out of your $10, even if you are putting $10 straight in the bank.
Right.
And I mentioned to you a few days ago, for example, if my grandson took 4-5 years to collect $1,000 worth of quarters in his piggy bank, he goes to the bank with his money pouches and puts all his money in the quarters in the money pouches. He gives the $1,000 to the bank. Straight $1,000 CI in quarters. The bank automatically takes $250 for themselves. And speaking of corruption.
Yeah, now before you go, now is that just the percentage or is it actually the dollar value? So it's not the $2.50 on the transaction, it's a percentage that they're taking off the bat.
Yeah, if you take $10 worth of quarters, Dwayne.
They take $2.50, I understand. So they're not taking a fee of $2.50, they're taking a percentage amount as opposed to a dollar amount, a fee.
Yes.
Okay.
And speaking of corruption earlier, right now we're under England. We're a British overseas territory. And this is corruption. And these are things that our members of the Legislative Assembly should be putting to the floor of the House and being dealt with immediately before it goes any further. Because right now, our banks have become legal thieves.
But it seems that, from what we understand, just by public comments, that there isn't really any great, regulation? I don't know if that's the word. Certainly there's good supervision of the banking sector, but the fees the banks charge, their policies of the banks, seem that they can do that almost as they wish. There's no approvals and the like that's needed.
Well, how I see it, these are things that we definitely cannot have in our country as an independent country. Things such as this. And it's my belief that our members of the Assembly, they either have shares in these banks or the bank loans that they have are so much, probably the underwear that they're wearing belongs to the bank. Is the reason why they are afraid to bring these things to the floor of the House. I see Ard McLean bringing it to the floor of the House concerning checks, and that's a good start.
But I guess your point is that sometimes the perception and whether or not something is the reality, we may have a perception of certain things. So how do we address that, and how do we not only have laws but enforcement?
Well, Dwayne, if the banks are doing this, you bring it to the floor of the House. And if the banks continue doing so, with no respect towards the laws of the land, you bring the directors of the bank and the board members to court.
To court?
Yes, you bring them to court and you deal with them the way that you need to deal with them. You put laws in place. You put laws in place that they will receive a big fine, or they will lose their license, or they will go to prison. And these are the kind of laws that we have to put in place before we go independent.
Well, there is, as you shared, much for the country to consider if it's going to advance its laws, its independence, so to speak, the oversight and supervision, the regulation, and the like. But do we have the, I don't want to use the word the political will, but do we have the mindset to do that?
These people that run for politics, they act like they're not afraid to do nothing. They act like they will change this, they will change that, but they don't have the courage to do so.
Okay.
They don't have the courage to do so, and the love for the people of this country and the love for this country is not as strong as they make people think when they're running for politics.
Right. Well, let me ask the question. Okay, the people who are running for election, offering themselves, or even who are elected, may not have the sufficient courage. Respectfully, do you think the voters, we who vote for these people, do we have the courage to elect someone like that? That person that gets up and says, I'm going to do this, or that political party or that grouping that says, we need to do these things, some of which you have shared. Do you think the voters would have the courage to support that person, that team, that mindset?
Well, you have people who would have the courage. Then you have people who are so tired of promises that are not being kept.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have people, such as people that voted for Barabbas to be freed instead of Jesus.
Right, okay. But let me ask specifically, and only to, maybe just, hopefully let's see where it takes us. So that politician, let's say that one politician gets up on the campaign trail and says, listen, we need to do, and lists out a number of things. Maybe the banks can't do what seemingly we think they can do. Maybe they can. And then decides that there's needed legislation, as you shared. Maybe we need to have some sort of oversight within the Legislative Assembly to be able to call the industries into question and the leadership of the industries, whether it's the utility companies and the like. That person says these things. How far you think that person? You think that person is going to get enough votes to get elected?
Well, Dwayne, things such as this.
Mm-hmm.
We have a member in the assembly right now who was an employee at CUC before becoming a member of the assembly.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When they signed the new contract with CUC for 25 years, the same individual was the one that negotiated, was part of the negotiating deal for the next 25 years. That is not supposed to happen. Conflict of interest and corruption.
Well, it can, when we have a situation, what is saying in courts, a man should not be the judge in his own cause, there can be perceptions. Now, the whole notion of what we see sometimes transpire in our society don't necessarily have to speak to an issue of corruptions where we see a perceived conflict, even when they're not disclosed. But do we have that level of behavior in our society that as a people we're going to always act in the greater good?
Well, Dwayne, the example I just gave concerning CUC, I asked the individual who is now a politician that I just mentioned, he was part of the negotiating deal with
Right.
CUC.
And even though we're not naming him, there's very few who wouldn't recognize, whom you reference. But yeah, go ahead.
I don't have to name him.
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't. It's all. Yeah. But go ahead. Yeah.
I asked that individual if he had shares in CUC because I was concerned about the 25-year deal that he made, being a past employee with CUC just before elections.
Right.
He said he no longer has shares in CUC. He gave his shares to his children. Now, Dwayne, does that make any difference?
Now, to answer that though, I mean, look at publicly traded companies, and that one in particular. There are probably very few people in this country who either don't have shares directly or indirectly, or who don't have the opportunity to acquire shares, and who were looking at their investment portfolio would not look at that and say, you know what, that's a good stock to buy. It performs well. It does, good on its dividends and its returns. So, as a prudent investor looking for the long-term return, that might not be a bad option with the information that you have. All right, listen, I always love to engage you, but I got to choose between me and you talking and me staying on the right side of Miss Susan, because she reminds me that I'm way over. Please don't take this as a slight, forgive me, but let's exit and leave it there. Tomorrow we pick it up. We have the excellent company of the member of the Legislative Assembly, still leader of the opposition, Mr. Diaz Miller, joining us tomorrow. Looking forward to having him share with us. And for those of you out there, let's start thinking, not just talking. When we're talking, let's not be afraid to shy away. And sometimes, what Muhammad Ali would say, you got to stick and move. Castamata would tell him. Now, Carifta is up this weekend. Go and be a part of it. And whatever you do it to the best of your ability. If you can do it with a smile, hey, do so. And if you're not sure what to do, call Miss Susan right now so she can play you a song to cheer you up. Call her to you specifically. Have a wonderful, safe afternoon. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. And to our listeners, if you're listening to Radio Cayman, you're probably doing a good thing to get your day started. So continue and stay tuned. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman